What's up, y'all? Erebus here, and welcome back to some more Silent Hill. So, last time we cruised through the opening of the game and our very first look at the town of Silent Hill. And now it's time to head over to the Midwich Elementary School for some shenanigans. Now, last time I think we did it was a bit heavy on the references and not a ton of lore, just because it's the beginning of the game. Not much is happening yet. I think this is going to be the opposite. We'll probably do a lot more lore than references, and that's probably what it'll be more of moving on. It's getting dark again. What's going on? All right, so boy, that music is threatening. I don't know how clearly you can hear it, through my booming voice, but all the music in this game and this franchise is so good. I love it so much. This, by the way, is not the Otherworld yet. We haven't seen the Otherworld, really seen it as of yet. I mean, that's not really... No, that's not true. This is the Otherworld at this point. This world of darkness is what it is in this game. It changes game to game on what the Otherworld looks like. The big thing is that in the other Silent Hill games, the Otherworld is a static place. In Silent Hill 1, the Otherworld is kind of an evolving place. So right now it's just darkness. It gets a lot worse later. But that doesn't mean that this is not the Otherworld. It's just the Otherworld's not done forming yet, essentially. All right, let's hook a right here and hope we make it. You'll also notice that the enemies are a lot more frequent now than they were. And that's, of course, because the enemies originate in the Otherworld. That's their point of origin. So, now, a big point of conversation, realistically debate, is about what the Otherworld really is. If it's, an alternate universe, or multiple alternate universes, or... if it's just a separate world, an other world, if you want to say, like invading our own, taking over reality, as it were. Like there's only one reality, but the evil is taking over reality, or there are multiple realities. This shot here, I'll pop a screenshot for you, but this is basically just the school from Kindergarten Cop. Which is the main reference that I wanted to point out. Inside here also are a lot of Kindergarten Cup like posters. The school looks the same. That's really the only reference. Okay. Also want to point out, too much going on at once right now. That was a lot of action right there. Tons of enemies hunting you constantly. The music just building to a crescendo. The radio's going nuts because all the enemies are there. Second you walk in the door, it's just dead silence. I love that. It's very isolating. And I mean, the game as a whole is very isolating, but that is just all the isolation. It hurts. Take the school map. Yes, please. So what I was saying about the Otherworld is it essentially boils down to, is there a separate world or separate reality that is crashing, intersecting with this one? Or is... the Otherworld not other at all? It's just evil invading the world and changing it when it does. It's essentially a question of how many realities are there. Is there just one, or are there multiple? And that answer changes throughout the franchise. So, in the original game trilogy, the answer seems to be kind of a combination of the two. After that, some of the stuff that the Western developers made, they basically just said whatever you believe is right. There is no right answer or wrong answer. Just whatever you think is happening is what's happening. That's the worst answer you could possibly have. I feel like the movies were pretty strong on the alternate realities sort of vibe. I don't want to go this way yet, but I want to see if it's open. No, it's not. Okay. So for me, I feel like this is a matter somewhat of opinion. Somewhat of opinion and somewhat of... I don't know if it's a matter of opinion. Let's look at this first. This is another reference. Let's get this out of the way. More Ronaldo Gordon. This must be the list of teachers. Those are also the last names of the members of the band Sonic Youth, because developers were fans. So yeah, I have a hard time with this whole opinion versus fact thing on this one, because there's a fair amount of evidence to suggest that there's no such thing as alternate realities. It's just one world that's being invaded by evil. I feel like the later games, though, don't necessarily run with that. There's a bit of a difference. What I think really happened is it was not necessarily fully defined in the first one, so maybe it was minorly open to interpretation. And then it was a bit better defined in later games. Because I feel like Silent Hill 2, especially, at least demonstrates that there are layers of reality. Not necessarily an alternate world entirely, but different layers to reality so that different people perceive different things. But I don't think that this is trying to suggest that there are infinite worlds or whatever. There's an evil presence in Silent Hill that is affecting the real world of Silent Hill very, very directly, and without, sci-fi mumbo-jumbo. Picture of a door. This is an awesome door, by the way. I don't know who drew it, but it's certainly in bad taste. I disagree, Harry. I love that door. I think it's beautiful. That's one of those things, though, like I said, I'm not really comfortable calling that one a fact. It kind of is. There's some of the creators have made comments, and there's been evidence presented, essentially, that it is a cold, hard fact that the multiple worlds thing is just not true. I feel like some people have made decent cases for it, and so, whatever. Opinion or fact, you decide. I'm not going to tell you what to believe on that. That's up to you. My personal viewpoint on it is that there are various layers of reality, but there is only one reality. And there's an evil presence here in Silent Hill that is causing evil to ooze into the world and take it over. Let's read some bloody notes. It's written in blood. 10 o'clock, Alchemy Laboratory. Gold in an old man's palm, the future hidden in his fist. Exchange for Sage's Wada. So these are some fun puzzles based on time. It's written in blood. 12 o'clock, place with songs and sound. Silver guidepost is untapped in lost tongues. Awakening at the ordained order. And last but not least, it's written in blood. 5 o'clock, darkness that brings the choking heat. Flames render the silence, awakening the hungry beast, open time's door to beckon prey. So these are the three primary puzzles of the school before it transitions to being the other world version of the school. I don't remember what time we start on. 5 o'clock is the last time, but I don't remember if 10 or 12 is the first one. Basically, you can only do the puzzles at the right time. So, okay, that's also locked. So there is a clock tower out here, so we can see what time it is, and then based on that... Okay, we got some enemies here. Let's just see if we can... Tower door is locked. We are at 10 o'clock. Alright, so real quick, let me just dart back in here. I don't remember which one was 10 and which one was 12. So let me just take a peek, and that'll put us on the right path. I think you were 12 o'clock, right? Yeah, this one was 12 o'clock. Songs and sound. So 10 o'clock is Alchemy Laboratory. Okay, so let's look at our map. None of those interesting things are down here. It's all upstairs. Okay, so we have the chemistry lab. That would be an alchemy laboratory. And songs and sound would be the music room. But that, I'm betting, is going to be locked until we do the alchemy thing, whatever we have to do there. Mostly... Oh, here are the Grey Children. Welcome to the North American version. Okay, so essentially, there is a good amount of evidence to suggest that Alessa was bullied pretty... Not necessarily overly harshly. It's not really ever said that she is bullied worse than most children are. I mean, most kids get bullied, right? Maybe not most. That's a bit of an irresponsible overstatement, but a lot of kids get bullied. There's no evidence in game that her bullying was drastically worse than any other. But she was bullied to some extent. So these gray children enemies are reflective of that. These shadow child enemies actually aren't even enemies, and you don't have to interact with them at all. They just make your radio go nuts, and they make you panic for no reason. It's honestly the only reason they're even there. Okay, let's check the hall. Just get this room cleared. Alright. Alright, virtually everything's locked. It's an old horror joke. Shit's locked is what horror games should be called. Shit's Locked and Shit's Locked the sequel. Oh, this is a poster. I forget what it says, and I can't read it. I think it has to do with Martians. It's an alien sort of reference. Most of these posters are things that you would find, like this dog poster for one. I think it's a dog. Is something that you would find in Kindergarten Cop. Friend in Need. Yeah, most of this stuff is from Kindergarten Cop, all over the walls. Just straight took everything from Kindergarten Cop for the school. Which was partially their defense too, because what this game was actually supposed to be, what they were told to make by Konami, was a game that would really explode in the US. They wanted something popular here, and because of that, they really wanted something that was Western themed, and included a lot of Western themes and references and things of that sort. So, did I come in here for nothing? Just waste a bit of ammo? That's the best feeling when you do that. And by best, I mean not best. But, yeah, so Konami had wanted Team Silent to make something that had a lot of Western influence and would appeal to the United States because they wanted a better share of the market here. And so they wanted something kind of glamorous and Hollywood and that sort of thing. This is what they got. But one of Team Silent's things where they're like, what? Did you see the school? It's very Hollywood. It's just Kindergarten Cop. Everybody loves Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Oh, it's beautiful. If you guys don't know, and you may not, because this is not even game related, but Team Silent is just a group of characters, or they were. They were a group of characters. They're not a team anymore. I mean, were is kind of a strong word, I guess. It's not like they're deceased or anything. But they're just not together. Team Silent got disbanded after Silent Hill 3. Because Konami sucks, and everyone hates Konami. But yeah, they were... Oh, the visibility is not great. That went pretty well. I probably don't need to be killing all of them because I'm gonna use up a lot of my ammunition, but I do have a lot, so we'll see. That's a balancing act. As always in survival horror, it's a balancing act for how you handle enemies that you kill versus enemies that you avoid. Usually I try to avoid any that I don't really need to kill, but I forget what's in the which classrooms. So, because a lot of the classrooms have items in them, whether it be like health drinks or ammo or what have you. So, this is just straight up empty. Ain't nothing in here. Nothing to see here, folks. So what was I saying about Team Silent? Yeah, they're just they were a ragtag group for sure. Essentially, Konami had... The way that I like to put it is that Konami had a basement, and it took all of its worst employees that had just failed projects, and I forgot about that. That's a good scare. So the way I like to put it is that Konami had a basement, and it took all of its worst employees, the underperformers, people that failed at previous tasks or whatever, people that weren't happy being at Konami anymore and were probably going to try to leave, just threw them all together in the same basement and called them Team Silent. Wasn't really a basement, to my knowledge. I'd be surprised if it was actually a basement. I'm sure it wasn't. But behind the hyperbole, there's truth. But essentially, the point of that is just Team Silent was a bunch of underperformers that, had failed whatever projects they were put on prior to being put on Team Silent. Most of them were dissatisfied with the company. Most of them wanted to leave. And then Silent Hill happened, and it was a beautiful, beautiful occurrence. Oh, this camera is good. Oh, just the way it was tilting there. It's not my doing, as far as I know. But man, that was cool. Okay, so I think something important is here. This would be the music room. Okay. So we can't do anything with this yet. We have to do the alchemy one first. But we'll need to come here too, so that was an okay hallway to clean out, I think. This is a great room. Hello? Why are you rattling? It's a kitty cat. It's just a cat. There it was. That then gets owned miserably. Poor kitty cat. But there's nothing in here. Nothing in that drawer, and I don't think anything in this room at all. Yeah, I think it's just a scare room. And now there's another one. Okay, yeah, it's just one. Just a scare room, essentially. Nothing really else to it. Which I like. I like that a lot. That's what I was trying to avoid by running around a little bit. Oh, he got up fast. Normally they stay on the ground for a bit, so you have a chance to get in there. Okay, now I'm starting to lose ammo. At one point, it was, I was killing stuff, but I was still gaining ammo. Not really happening anymore. Now I'm kind of at a loss. Oh no, and there's more. Okay, let's get our kicks in, hopefully before they get up. That one outside got up real fast, so okay, no, we're good. Ah, and we get some more bullets. Thankfully. Okay, now we're heading back in the right direction on bullets. Thank goodness. I was starting to get a bit worried. Even though we'll get a better gun somewhere in the hospital. That's where we are. Can you tell I'm a little bit ahead of myself? Somewhere in the school. I think it's in one of the bathrooms, but I don't remember which one. we'll get another weapon, but that one we'll use very sparingly because it's pretty much the best one in the game. Why did that music get so horrible? All of a sudden, I don't know. Okay, there's clearly some stuff in here. Oh, okay, I remember this room. Yeah, okay. This is the library. There's not actually an enemy in here. It's just one of those little shadow boys. They squeak and they squeak, but they can't hurt you. No special book here. Well, sounds like he's looking for one. Let's see, is it just first aid in here? Is that all? Is that the only reason to come in here? I guess so. That's fine. Okay, now this side, I don't remember if it's still just a goofy shadowman or not. Nope. Real monsters in here. Trying to give myself a little bit of space. Okay. I didn't know if there was one or two. So I want to give myself a little bit of space in case there's a second one back here. Ooh, doesn't look like there's anything in here though. So that was potentially a waste of time. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, this is a fun poster too. Oh, you can actually kind of read this one. A woman came down from planet Vulcan. Star Trek reference. Because who doesn't like Star Trek? Am I right or am I right? Alright. Let's just put that on the map as being an open door. And I think we've made a giant circle around to the chemistry lab. Kind of odd that there's no enemies out here. Maybe after I get the item, there will be. Alrighty. What have we got? Anything over here? Oh, there is on that side. Not on this side, though. Okay. Obviously that big hand, but that's going to be our puzzle. I don't remember what the actual puzzle is here, though. Because I remember the music room having something to do with notes on a piano. I don't remember what you're actually supposed to do here. Let's look at the hand and see what it tells us. Statue of an old man's hand. The fist shut tight as if never to let go. Very helpful. Okay. There's an equipment room next door that we didn't go into yet, so let's check that and see if there's something. Like these bottles. Just some distilled water. Nobody needs that. There's a chemical. Y'all know how much I like chemicals. So I guess that'll do. Nothing useful around here, though. Okay, that seems to be it. Now they're out here. Well, at least one was. Okay, so what is this chemical that we've got here? The label reads concentrated hydrochloric acid. Nice. Alright, well, let's attempt to throw that on the hand and see how it goes. Because if not, I might have to cut. Because I don't know what else it would do. Okay, it worked. Thank goodness. Alright, so now we'll get one of the medals. I don't remember which one. Gold medallion. Yes. So we need the gold medallion and the silver one. A picture of a clock tower is engraved on the surface found at the chemistry lab. So that's to let you know that you need to put it in the clock tower. And I am done on this side, so I'm just gonna ignore those guys, because I'm done there. Oh no, don't go up again. Let's see. Music room is next. So straight down and to the right. So in the meantime, this is a pretty important location to the overall mythos. Particularly in terms of Alessa's upbringing. So, and the movies really went ham with it. Won't open. Odd, it doesn't look locked, though. Maybe we have to read the puzzle first. Let's deal with this first, and then we'll get into Alessa's upbringing. It's written in blood. Tale of birds without a voice. First flew the greedy pelican, eager for the reward, white wings flailing. Then came a silent dove, flying beyond the pelican as far as he could. Raven flies in, flying higher than the dove, just to show that he can. Swan glides in to find a peaceful spot next to another bird. Finally, out comes a crow, coming quickly to a stop, yawning and then napping. Who will show the way? Who will be the key? Who will lead to the silver reward? So that is going to be our silver medallion. Won't open. Okay, so maybe we do need to go put the gold one into the clock tower first. I thought that might be the case, but... Oh, in the meantime, on the right side over there, we have not used... we've not been on that side of the first floor, so let's use these stairs on this side. Then we have a whole nother little half a floor to explore and maybe get a new gun. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So... Oh. That is the most inconvenient spot you could have been in, sir. Alright, where's the other one? There you are. Radio didn't even really go off. It's going off now? Why is it going off now? Hang on, I'm confused and frightened. What else is in here? Oh, just another one of them. Okay. It's usually only 2 per room. That's kind of strange, but alright. So, it is, I think, pretty fair to say that Alessa was bullied. I don't think that there's any indication that she was bullied significantly more than anyone else. We talked about the bullying. And the movies bring up another point that I wanted to address a little bit, and that is sexual assault. And or, however you want to phrase that, molestation, rape, all of the above. It says cut on those lockers. That's, I don't like that. The movies make it very clear that they... Oh, it's when you use shadow bastards. Got me again. The movies make it very clear that in that version, Alessa was molested by a janitor here. And it references a character who comes in, I want to say only once ever in the entire anything. In all of the mythos of Silent Hill 1. There is a guy in a bathroom stall, kind of like how the movie portrays it, but he's not really given any lore at all that's solidified. So these guys I'm just going to run past. I don't really care. I know I need to put my medallion here and then just pop back upstairs. Oh, I need to actually do it, though, not just click on the thing. Dur-to-dur. I don't know how I feel about the whole molestation angle. I think no matter how you feel on that one, it's a matter of opinion. Because I think that there's some possible evidence to that point. But at the same time, I don't think that it's really overt either way. I don't think you need the molestation angle to describe what's in game. And so that's one thing when it comes to, was it like the question, was a character sexually assaulted? If there's another way to explain the symbolism without that, and there's only like one or two pieces of evidences for that, so usually I would say, we have pretty conclusive enough evidence that no, that didn't happen, and the movies made it up, and movies are terrible. But in this case, I mean, a lot of details about Alessa, you only get one, maybe one piece of evidence. So I would say it's not far-fetched. I think you can go there. I think you can make the case that there's a sexual assault or molestation angle. I don't think you have to, though, because I think most of these things are explainable in other ways. Alessa, as we know, is going to be used by the cult. Okay, piano's now open, thank God. Alessa is going to be used by the cult to birth God. She has a very severe fear of childbirth, probably due to, stuff from her upbringing and all that, but we see that a lot in Silent Hill 3 with Alessa in that game, in that she's horrified of childbirth, but part of her fear of childbirth is also being terrified of pregnancy. Those two things are tied together. And of course, typically without, cults and God things and whatnot, the only way to have a pregnancy or a birth is intercourse. So all three of those things she's horrified of. Intercourse, so there's a lot of sexual imagery in Silent Hill 3, a lot, because Alessa's horrified by sexual intercourse, pregnancy, and childbirth. So a lot of the sexual imagery, I think you can attribute to some sort of molestation. I think there's one specific point that I'll point out when we get to it that I think you could point at that and say something occurred. But I also think because of how Silent Hill 3 plays out with the sexual stuff being tied so inextricably with pregnancy and childbirth, you don't need to go that way. And personally, I don't go that way. I don't think that that's valid myself. I just don't see a reason for it. But that's one of those ones that's a matter of opinion in my mind anyway. Okay, so the way that this puzzle works is keys on the piano, black and white. So what we need are the colors here. So pelicans, I guess, are white. They're actually multicolored, but whatever. White, dove is white, which goes beyond the pelican. Then black higher than that. Then white next to something, and then black. Okay. So the important thing is it goes white, white, black, white, black, and it ascends on the first three. Those are the points that we really need to know. Now, check the piano. Of course, check the piano. Now, on the piano, there's going to be some dead keys. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. Should be 5. Okay, that's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so it was this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? Okay, so now we have our dead keys, so now we need to attribute, we need to go white, white, black, all in ascending order. So let's go white, white, black, and then we need white and black. Okay, not that, so let's do the other combination there. White, white, black, white, black. Again, I've done this puzzle so many times, If you're not quite solving it along with me, don't worry about it. I was not anywhere near that fast my first, several times through the game. I've played this game more times than I care to admit, if I'm being honest. Okay, so now we need to go back down. No, not up. I hit the wrong button. We need to go back down and go back to the clock tower to advance the time. Okay, so let's go out the door to our immediate left, and then down that hallway, and there'll be some stairs so that we can do the last puzzle, which I forgot about until reading the thing, because it's not really a puzzle, other than just what do I do here. And part of the reason that I remember it actually is because of a big lore thing. So we'll get into it. We will get into it. Okay, courtyard. So theoretically, I probably should be killing those two that are out here, because I keep coming back to this area and will again. But it's a big open space. I can just run around them, so not really necessary. Okay, so now the music's gotten a little more threatening. Oh, God. Music's gotten a little more threatening. Everything's more threatening. Okay, we need to go downstairs. So that's one reason why you don't necessarily want to clear out all the enemies, because they'll just respawn anyway when you trigger certain things. So you only really want to kill the enemies that you must. Nothing inside. That's a creepy little hidey hole. I don't know what that's for or why that's there, but I don't like it. Okay, so boiler. Okay, so let's talk about something here with the boiler. And I'm going to fully just address the camera. Ignore the movies, please. So many people pay attention to the lore in the movies. Don't ever reference the lore of the movies. Whatever is in the movies is wrong, unless it's what's in the games. Okay. Alessa is not a villain. I want you to say it with me. Alessa is not a villain. Thank you. Alessa's not. She's not a villain. She's the fucking protagonist of the majority of the series, really. Yeah, we're playing as Harry here, but she's the focus of this game. She is the protagonist in 3, so deal with it. She's not a fucking villain. Moving from that point, Alessa is not a villain. The cult is villainous, and specifically the representative of the cult that we see in this game, which is Dahlia. Dahlia is a villain. Dahlia wants to forcibly impregnate Alessa with their cultish demon god. Alessa's not cool with that. So she resists, and what happens is, and we'll see evidence for this much, much later in the game. So we'll talk about it again, but I just need to get part of it out now. So what happens is Alessa has a gift. She's a bit of a... oh, God. It's not telekinetic, but it's psychic, telekinetic, something. She has some sort of supernatural sort of power to her. And when her mother is trying to forcibly get her to, participate in this ritual to impregnate her with their demon god, Alessa freaks the fuck out and unintentionally blows up the boiler in her the basement of her house. There's a memo about the boiler. We'll get there. Okay, just trust me for now. Just go with me. Okay, follow me on this journey. Alessa accidentally blew up the boiler in her own house. This caused a massive explosion and fire, which caught the entire house on fire and nearly burned her to death. Realistically, it should have burned her to death. She should have died at the hospital from her injuries. She was kept alive by Dr. Kaufman and medicine and Dahlia's magic together. Okay. The cult did not set her on fire. Why would they? Why would they try to burn her? It makes no sense. In the movies, for example, they set her on. They try to burn her as a witch. They want a witch. They want somebody to birth God, for God's sakes. So, okay. My point is, that's why I remember this boiler, because it was a point of contention. I was like, boiler! Because guess what? It's another boiler that is very important in the game. This boiler allows us to go through the clock tower. You understand? You have to turn this boiler on in order to progress the game. Boilers are a big deal. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try to stop yelling and I'll try not to be this angry. But it makes me mad when people think that Alessa is evil or that she herself is a demon, or that the cult would ever set her on fire. The cult would never set her on fire. They need her. All right, I'm going to save the game real quick just because we're about to hit a transitory point. And I have big decisions to make, guys. Big decisions to make because we're about to head into the Otherworld school. And that's probably going to be about another 40 minutes. So do I want an hour and a half episode or a 40-minute episode? And we'll do this one as a part one, part two. I think we'll do a part two. Because I don't want to go... I was kind of thinking around an hour for a lot of these episodes, but I don't really want to go like hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes. And I don't want to rush either. So we'll break it up, probably. If we don't break it up and there's a random-ass edit here when I connect two episodes, that's why. But otherwise, I will see you guys real soon. I'm sorry for yelling about the whole... Alessa and the cult thing, but it's one of the biggest misconceptions, and it's so wrong. It's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of opinion at all. It's so black and white. You're wrong if you believe the movie. So I have to rage a little. But anyway, thank you guys for humoring me and for sticking around for this long of an episode. I hope you guys are still having fun. Clearly I am. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below how you're feeling. Like and or subscribe if you have not already. Most importantly, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll see you real soon.